Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. It's me, JP. It's time for JP's product pick of the week. And if that's what you thought you were about to see, then you're in the right place. And if not, what the heck's going on? Hey, we have people in our chats, and I'd love to say thanks for stopping by. Over in YouTube chat, we have Jack Hess. Hi, Jack. We have Beata Graf Avdalhagen, Tackle the World, Dave Odessa, Jason Holloway. Greetings to you. Thanks for stopping by. If you're somewhere else and you're wondering where the chat is, then look for this. This is the Adafruit Discord channel, or rather Discord server. It's at adafruit.it/Discord. You get an instant invite. Hop on in there and look for the live broadcast chat channel. That's that one right there. And there we have the likes of Squid.jpg, best username in the world, Johnny Bergdahl, DCD, Todd Bott, Thin Man, Paul Cutler, Blitz City DIY, hi Liz, Tyeth, Starman, did I mention? C. Grover, DCD, hello. Thanks for stopping by for the show. So, if you're new to the show here, this is a show where I show you a new product. This is a pretty spanking brand new product hot off of the assembly line at Adafruit Industries in New York. And tell you all about it, give you a big discount on it. You can go and buy it in the store right now at the 50% off discounted price. No coupon necessary. We simply chop that price in half. We threw about 100 of them into the reserves before the show, so those have been unleashed. So if you want to pick some up, head there now. You can also watch this show inside of that URL right there, or QR code. The show takes place inside of the product page, and then you can throw it in your cart and buy it. Price will go back up after the show is done, so act fast. Before I say any more, as is tradition, I will have Lady Ada jump back just a little bit in time and tell you about it on the new segment. So take it away, Lady Ada.
Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. It's the Pixel Trinkey. What this is a USB-A port plug that connects into your laptop, and on board is a SAMD21 microcontroller. It has 256K of flash, 32K of RAM, so it runs Arduino wonderfully. CircuitPython, it's a little minimal, but if it's only driving pixels, it can actually do quite a bit. There's a 3.3 volt regulator, a reset button, a little NeoPixel just for signal, and most importantly, terminal block output. And you see, oh, can you go back? Yeah, this is a great photo. Thanks to Ogren, photographer. The 4-port terminal block uses screw terminal, so you just use a screwdriver. Top pin is ground, negative, then data, D, clock, C, and 5 volt plus. And what this lets you do is quickly wire up NeoPixel or dot star LEDs. The dot stars use both pins. The NeoPixels use just the data line, where you could have 2 NeoPixel strands, one on the data line and one take data from the clock line. And you don't have to do any like powering or wiring. And as long as you're driving less than 150 pixels or 60 bright pixels, you can actually just power it from the USB port, which will give you about an amp. Here I'm using a USB to C adapter for the MacBook. And you can use Arduino, you can use CircuitPython. We might write a couple quick apps for using Windows 11 has dynamic lighting HID definition, so like the operating system itself can control NeoPixels or dot stars. But basically, it's like if you want a really quick way of just you plug it in, you don't have a separate wiring thing, you don't have to like solder or join any cables. For most, NeoPixel strands you get, you'll just get the wires on the end. You could just cut and strip or plug directly into the ends of the wire. And you can see here, like we have a little wire adapter we recommend. You just plug it in, and then you screw it into the terminal blocks like so, and then no solder LED wiring up. And it's very compact too, so you can just have it plugged into your computer, and then we might revisit like the Ada Light project, which did like dynamic lighting based on a movie or whatever you're watching. Instead of just like it's basically the same as having an Arduino, but it's just very compact and inexpensive and ready to go. And it comes with a demo that immediately starts lighting up whatever pixel is connected. So you know it's working.
That's a good idea.
And if you want to, if people are like, oh, what if I want to drive more than 1 amp worth of pixels? Just disconnect the 5-volt line, use an external power supply, and share the ground line. So you don't have to use the 5-volt power. But if you want for small pixel strands, you can do it. And then, of course, the data and clock lines are level shifted. So it'll drive even the most finickiest of pixels.
Yes, even the most finniest of NeoPixels. This is the product pick of the week this week. It is the Pixel Trinkey. This plugs right into USB. It's an M0 processor, and it has terminal blocks for either NeoPixels or dot stars. You can plug in data and clock if you have it, power and ground, and then drive pretty much any of your NeoPixel strands, rings, boards, sticks, and you can do all sorts of things like code it in CircuitPython or Arduino, and then just simply give it power. It'll just be a standalone, your design NeoPixel type of thing. I'll show you a demo of that. Or you can, as Lady Ada said, use the new dynamic lighting features built into Windows 11, if you happen to be on that operating system. And then you can do sort of unified global lighting effects, similar to what you see on some gaming mice and keyboards, like the Razer stuff, except this is universal across the operating system. So you can have all sorts of glowing effects that match up among your different peripherals. And there are applications that will trigger that stuff as well. It isn't just a passive effect. It can be based on what you're doing on the system, which is pretty cool. I'll show a demo of that as well. In fact, Lady Ada said that we might write some apps for that. And in fact, Liz Clark has written up a couple of examples that you can simply download as a UF2, or you can code them yourself. She's got a guide on that that's coming out pretty soon. I'll show you a sneak peek of that. But let's get to it. Let's get to some demos. So the first one I want to show is this demo right here. So you can see I've got I've got the Pixel Trinkey right there. I have it connected to one of our little LED rings. I've got a bit of plastic for diffusing. I've coated it in fast LED, and now I'm just going to plug it into a battery pack. So this is your typical USB phone battery pack, and you can see if I shield that from some of the bright light there, or just reflect it off of something like a human face, you can see there I've got a cool little Pride Month logo color effect happening there, sort of like a little Raver popsicle stick you can stick in your pocket. And that is all just running off of the Pixel Trinkey there. I've also got that in a little bit of heat shrink tubing that you can see. Maybe there's some clear heat shrink to give it some protection. And then you can put it back on this. I left it open so that you could see it a little better. So there is a not too legible, just because of my camera here. What I'll do actually is switch over to this camera view for a second, and you can see a little bit better. So there is the Pixel Trinkey. It's wired to data, ground, and power on this little NeoPixel 16 ring, and then some plastic diffusing. And that's simply plugged into a USB battery, having already been coded right in Arduino with the fast LED library. This is this Pride 2015 effect, perfect for Pride Month. And then I also have a demo that you can see right here. Let me show you this. This is pretty cool. So first of all, I'll unplug this and let me goose the exposure a little bit while I'm showing this part. So here you can see I've got another Pixel Trinkey, again with a little bit of heat shrink tubing on there. And then I have one of our JST 3-pin connectors. So you could have different LED strips or boards that you want to plug in. That's 3 wires, so we get power, ground, and data. You could use a 4-wire strip if you're using the dot stars, which also add a clock line to that. And then I'm simply going to plug this into the USB port on my Windows 11 laptop here. And now what you can see is the code that's on the Pixel Trinkey has been created by Liz Clark to work with Microsoft's dynamic lighting. So you can see there it shows up as the dynamic lighting Pixel Trinkey M0. So this is operating system wide right now as a controller. So you can see I can turn off and on the effect in general. We can allow compatible apps to control this. We can adjust the brightness right here, which makes the colors a little more legible actually, directly on. And then we can do things like, oh, you know what, let's just match colors to your system tint. So the accent color on this operating system right now you can see is this sort of light blue. So you just turn that on and that'll match any accessories like mice and keyboards that are also matching your system color. Or you can go and personalize them. So here you've got a nice little color picker. You can also create custom colors. And you can do some pretty neat effects. So this is solid color, but we can switch over to breathing. And now you'll see there's a little sort of pulsing breathing effect there. You can, again, change the brightness of that. You can adjust the speed of the effect. Here's the maximum sort of hyperventilation speed that you can set it to, or lower that. And then there's also a rainbow effect, and that's going to cycle the whole strip through rainbow coloring. And one neat thing that you can do, as Lamore mentioned, is ambilight style projects where you can take your strips, this is an edge-lit NeoPixel strip, and simply put that behind your monitor, and that'll glow the wall or other things that are behind your monitor or your laptop screen to be less in your face, but sort of a nice ambient color effect. And in applications that'll trigger this, you can do things like if a bomb goes off in your game, maybe orange and yellow flashing happen on this, depending on what the game or the application is designed to do. We can also change this to be other effects like a wave between multiple colors. So we could do like a red and a yellow wave here. It's going to cycle between these little candy colors. Change the directions of those. Go to a color wheel, a gradient effect. So those are just some of the things that are built right into the controller in Windows 11, which is neat. And those all talk to our little Pixel Trinkey right there, and you can plug in any strip you want. As Lamore said, if you want to use more than around 100, 150, this is a 90 pixel strip right here, but if you want to get up into higher numbers at full brightness and full current draw, USB port is really meant to give you about an amp. So if you need to go beyond that, you can use external power supplies with your strip as well, just tie the ground between the two. So let's see, the question in the chat, what's the 3-pin socket on the board connected to? So let's take a little closer look at this board here. I'm gonna do a little focus adjust. Whoops, that was the zoom adjust, I don't want that. There we go. And I'm going to adjust that exposure again, a little brighter. Okay. So you can see actually on the bare Pixel Trinkey, this one I've put a little bit of heat shrink on, and you can see there the terminals allow for ground data and, turn off that sound, ground data and power here, and that middle one that I'm not using, or that third one I'm not using, is the clock. So that is running to, in this case, the 3 wires that come off of a NeoPixel strip. This is a side-lit NeoPixel strip that I happen to be using here. But most of our, as Lady Ada mentioned, most of our NeoPixel strips come with some sort of wiring on the end that you can either plug in directly. Some of them have connectors. Some of them you can cut and just strip a little bit of insulation and screw them right into there. We also have on there we have on there a STEMMA QT port, so you can attach some I2C peripherals, and we have the little reset button there. There's also an onboard NeoPixel that can be used for status or for testing. Backside is pretty empty, other than some silkscreen to tell you the names of the pins there, and then we also have some test points that are used. So let's see, does that cover questions? Laptop's out of breath with that demo. Let's see. No, I think we're good. Good, no questions. That's excellent. I don't have the code up that I was running on these, but this one here, this is this Pride 2015 demo. In Arduino, if you have the fast LED library installed, which I don't on this one here, I did this inside. This is one of the examples with that. But in Arduino or in CircuitPython, you're simply going to call the pin data. It's named data in CircuitPython and pin data. It's also pin 2 in Arduino, so you can call that as well. And then however many LEDs you're using, set up NeoPixel in your normal way, and off you go. So it's going to work that way with dot star as well, just with the addition of the clock line being called out. So straightforward, easy to use, and a lot of fun. These are really interesting uses. The fact that you can plug into the laptop or a Windows computer and get these kind of lighting effects. Plug this back in here. And off it goes. So let's see. Oh, am I wrong? Is that not a STEMMA QT port? It's a 3-pin. It's not 4-pin. Hey. Okay, let me take that back. Yeah, this does not have I didn't look at that closely or read the, yeah, how about that? That little 3-pin connector on there, I think that's a JST SH connector, and that is so that you can use buttons. So I think it's an analog and digital capable pin, power and ground, so that you can get external control on there. That's not for I2C. Thank you for clearing that up in the chat, Toddbot, eagle-eyed. And in fact, I don't think we have the guide live just yet, but I have the preview of it here. So let me show you. Here's the product page, and if you scroll down here in probably a matter of hours or maybe tomorrow morning, you'll be able to click on the product page. Rather, you'll be able to click on the Learn Guide, and this is the Pretty Pins diagram here, which if I'd paid attention to, this little JST connector here is for a digital or analog pin, D4, power and ground. And so that's similar to our 3-pin connectors that we use sometimes for signal on things like the Cricket. So that way you could have, if you're using this in a costume just plugged right into a USB battery, you can have a little switch for changing patterns or turning things on and off or adjusting brightness, that kind of stuff. Yes, good catch. Thank you, Toddbot, for that. So you can see here the terminal block breakout, ground, data, clock, and the V-bus power. So that's going to be 5 volts, the voltage bus when you're plugged into USB. So that's great because that's the most, it'll be the brightest and the most compatible with all different kinds of RGB LEDs. And then you can see here there's the onboard NeoPixel, and there's also a voltage monitoring pin. So other things you'll see in the guide when this comes out, there are some examples of using NeoPixels and dot stars. So Liz has this cool example using a 8x8 grid. Here's an example for using dot stars. So those are the dot star LEDs, which are higher refresh, so you can do POV types of things with them. Anything you need a higher refresh on, you can use the dot stars. And then we have the Arduino examples that include NeoPixel. We have, again, Liz has been working hard on a update so that we can use fast LED with this. There are some board definition things that need to get straightened out there. And then this is this HID lamp array. That is the dynamic lighting control stuff in Windows 11 that I was showing there. So you can see she's got some nice GIF animations and a couple of prepared UF2 files. So if you don't want to deal with the board definitions in Arduino and you just want to get an example up and running, this will work. It'll work on strips. It's designed for that 8x8 array, but that'll work on a strip as well. If you have a NeoPixel strip you want to use, then you can grab that. And she has an example for RGB as well as RGBW, which adds that fourth white component. So I think there's more to come with these, but if you want to get in on the ground floor of this sweet, sweet Pixel Trinkey action, then this is your chance. So Once again, that's the URL. If you want to head there, you can pick some up at the half price right now. And that is my product pick of the week this week. It is the Pixel Trinkey. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been JP's product pick of the week, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.